Man, the people have been wonderful. I'm all about people, and the energy is fantastic. All of the speakers have been great. The reception has been wonderful. Everyone's positive, and I think people are just happy to be united and to get that sense of freedom and community, which was stripped away from people for several years on end.
I'm sitting here all day and I'm listening to some of the most fascinating, amazing heroes. People that are not just talkers, but they're doers. I'm learning. I learned today more than in the past few months.
Reclaiming Canada means that we move forward to a point where citizens are going to appreciate and practice and live out their fundamental freedoms and assume responsibility for their lives. We're going to keep on fighting until we have the restoration of a free society where the government is our servant, not our master. And we've got to have that attitude to keep on going over the long haul and not get discouraged after a few days, a few weeks, a few months.
We started getting evidence early on from these companies as part of our process. We were demanding disclosure, we were looking at documents. We saw a 26.7% adverse reaction rate in Pfizer's own data. 26.7%. If they had told us that it's 26.7% likely you might get a side effect from this, would you have gotten the vaccine? Now, this room, obviously not. The reality is the vaccine campaign wouldn't have been nearly as successful.
The truth is marching, and nothing will stop it. I said it before and I say it again. When truth is buried underground, it grows and it builds with so much force that the day it erupts, it will blow up everything with it. We shall see whether we have been setting ourselves up for the most resounding disasters yet to come.
You know, we thought when the trucks were going to leave Ottawa that was going to be the end of it. But what we now know is that was just the beginning. We have a lot of work to do, and we're gonna get there. Somebody, I think yesterday said, you know, is there any hope? We always have hope. That's the one word that we heard the most all across this country. Don't lose your hope, whatever happens.
And regardless of the decision, when the judge reads the verdict, we've already won, regardless. So,
Yes,
thank
we
you,
have.
everybody.
Thank you.
That's the reason why you're here. That's what it took all the way through this crisis and beyond for us to get back to a sense of balance all over the world. It took courage. It takes continued. Courage is not the absence of fear. We all have fear. It's our ability to overcome it. That's what courage is.
Reclaiming Canada means, for me, is that we have to get back our rights and freedoms that we've lost during the whole COVID period, where courts and governments have initiated actions which violate the Charter rights and freedoms. And that therefore, because they were violated, have the danger of becoming a precedent for the next time round, and we've got to ensure that that doesn't happen.
It makes me sad to have realized that those basic civil liberties are not as well protected as I thought they were. And I do think it also makes me feel determined. I think I want to be part of restoring that notion of we have these civil rights. They're important. They're important not just because they're civil rights, inherently so, although that is also true, but also because they're important for our health. It's in conversation with one another that science advances, that medicine advances, and suppressing speech was harmful for the health of the population. I want to be part of reversing that.
When I talk about reclaiming Canada, I'm really talking about reclaiming the things that we love about being Canadian. Reclaiming the title of freest place on earth so that when people face tyranny wherever they're at, they have a place to go.
We are entirely fractured. We need to reclaim the psyche of Canadians and say, you are a Canadian. This is a country. These are your neighbors, your friends, your community. And they're worth fighting for and protecting. And the idea of this free country, this country that has so much more liberty than 90% of the world in human history, is worth fighting for. That is reclaiming Canada. It's a psychological reclamation that will then be realized politically.
The three countries that got it the worst were three countries close to my heart, which was Australia, New Zealand, and Canada. And I've been to Canada many times, and I got lots of friends here. And we started a project to try and enable conversations. We were seeing friends and family splitting up, people not talking to their loved ones, and we didn't want that to happen. And we had so many Canadians join us because they just wanted to reach their friends and family. And when the guys spoke to me about this, I was like, okay, I have to be there. I could feel the energy.
So I think just coming together, sharing ideas, there's already a few things that I'm like, oh, that was an interesting point or view that I hadn't thought about. Making the connections so that we can accomplish something. I think a speaker already said it earlier today, we need to get organized and we need to get strategic, and that's 100% where I'm at. Let's dig in now, let's get to solutions, let's get some answers.
This is a great start, a great way, an olive branch, if you will, of people saying, let's bring things back together. We know we disagree on a lot of different things, perhaps, and it doesn't matter. We're Canadians. We can come together, and I mean, we've done it for decades and decades and decades. Why can't we do it now?
We have to come together. That's always been the path of moving forward. We have to have more things like this where we share ideas and we share plans and be productive, and that's going to have a huge impact on how we move forward in society.
I don't think it's sufficient for people to just get the in the moment motivation and inspiration, but I want people to be able to leave here and feel that there are things that they can tangibly do and ways that they can change their way of thinking so that they're just more empowered and emboldened in whatever sphere or sector or career or stage of life they are in or where they're at.